Hey guys, Carl from Purple Moose Plays. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the 18-card solo deck building game At the Helm from designer Ted Heidersdorf and publisher Buttonshy Games. This is another solo game from Buttonshy, which would almost instantly mean I was interested in taking a look at it anyway, but the idea that there's a deck building game that is not just solo only but 18 cards only is something I'm very curious to see how this game is even possible. Disclaimer, I was given a review copy of this game from Buttonshy, but as always I will give my honest opinion on the game. Let's head down to the table to see how it plays, and I'll meet you back up here to let you know what I think. To set up a game of At the Helm, begin by choosing 3 challenge cards at random. These challenge cards are double-sided, so I like to give them a shuffle, and as I'm shuffling, sort of flip over a few of them as I go, and then I will choose the top 3 cards as my challenge. So for this game, I will be playing with Discover Island, Giant Squid, and Whirlpool. We'll then take our last card, turning it sideways and using that as a marker to keep track of all of the things that we need to do for that playthrough. So we'll go ahead and set each of these at 0 to start. Just like that. Next, we're going to choose our captain. Doesn't matter which we choose, but there is a male and a female side of this card. For this playthrough, I might as well go ahead and use this one since it's showing right now. And we will set that so that the 7 health is facing up. Whatever number is pointing up will be our remaining health for the rest of the game. We'll then take the 8 marketplace cards, give them a shuffle, and lay them out in 2 rows of 4 cards. And then finally, take the 5 starting cards marked with this wheel right here, give those a shuffle, and we will draw up to 3 cards for our starting hands. As we draw those cards, it's worth mentioning that if you see a broken heart like this in the top left corner, you will take 1 damage for each of them that comes out. So I'm going to rotate that card now so that the 6 is pointing up, and we will start the game with 6 health. So At the Helm will be played out over a series of turns, doing our best to fulfill all 3 of these challenges before running completely out of health or needing to shuffle our deck when it's empty to draw cards and not having any cards remaining in the marketplace. And the way it's going to work is this. On my turn from my hand, I will choose 1 or 2 cards to play to the table, activating whatever it shows here at the bottom of the card, aiming to fulfill the challenges on the challenge cards. So let's take a look at the challenge cards. First, we've got a Whirlpool, which says right now the Nautical Charts card has no effect. And in order to advance this up, I have to do it 3 times. I'm going to need to use 4 sails in 1 turn to advance that up. And I need to do that again 3 times to fulfill that challenge. Discover Island says I need to complete with 10 sails. So that's going to be 1 sail at a time. We'll slide that one up, and I need to do it 10 times. The Giant Squid, I have to hit it 9 times with an attack, but it says that any turn that I spend more than 1 attack or more than 1 sail, means definitely every time I activate the Whirlpool, that Giant Squid is going to hit me for 1 damage. This double sails is going to be tricky, but we'll get it done as we can. But this Giant Squid is going to be attacking me the more I work on that, so we will need to focus on healing. Now, the cards from the market are going to work by, if we spend 1 gold, we could take any card from the market and adding it directly into our hand, and when we add it directly into our hand, we don't take any damage from the hearts. Otherwise, when we run out of cards here and we need to draw a new card into our hand, we will choose 1 card from the bottom row of the marketplace to add to our discard pile. Shuffle all of those together and start again with a new set of cards. Now again, if that ever happens and there is no card to add to the discard pile, the game immediately ends. Also, once we've added a card from the bottom row into the discard, whichever card is above it will slide down into the bottom row, so that would be available for you in the next round. So with that said, let's get into play. I'm holding 3 cards. I'll lay them down here right now. It might be useful to see. I've got 1 heart, another heart, and 1 attack. Now this rum says instead of you playing it for 1 heart, I can play it and discard a card from the market to instead get 3 hearts, 3 attack, or 3 sails. The nautical chart is basically just allowing me to avoid challenge cards, and it will allow me to play an extra card because I can only generally play 1 or 2 cards per turn. But right now that's turned off because of the whirlpool. So realistically, I don't care about that card. So I am going to play the rum to discard or remove that card from the game. And I'm going to trigger that as a 3 attack. So I will be playing more than 3 attack, but that's okay because I'm going to use 3 attack to hit that squid 3 times. And then I still have the harpoon. I will play that as well for 1 more attack, knocking him to a 4. Because I'm hoping that if I get rid of the squid fast, it'll do less damage to me as I focus on these heavy sails later in the game. And because I did that, the squid does hit me once because I spent a lot of attack that turn. So we're down to 5 health. I draw 2 more cards to get back up to 3. I will always draw up to 3. And there is 1 damage there. So I will rotate 1 more time to 4. Which means I better play the fish to bring my health back to 5. And I'm going to play the jib because that's a single sail, and the giant squid only hits me if I play more than 1 sail. So that will let me slide Discover Island up 1 slot. I'm down to 1 card again. I need to draw back up to 3. We are out of cards, so we are going to choose one of the bottom row to add in. And right now it's looking like these 3 cards are all really good. This gets me to attack with a damage, but I can hurt the squid a lot. This gets me 2 sails, plus if I play this with the other card that had sails, it makes that a double sail instead of a single sail. And this gets me 2 healing. And 2 healing might be important if the giant squid keeps hitting me, so I'm going to take the healing first so I can survive before anything else. We'll shuffle all those cards together, and we'll draw 2 more to add to my pearls that I already had, which gets me 1 more damage. We're down to 4. Now, I can do a big hit against the squid again, but right now I want to heal up. And I might, I'm down to 4 health already. Yeah, I'm going to spend the rum 1 more time and discard 1 more. Is it worth it? To heal up 3 is definitely worth it, but I have the first aid coming, so I don't want to do that. All right, I'm going to play the heal to heal once. And I'm going to play the harpoon, which is a single attack, so I don't get attacked back from the squid. And then we draw 2 more cards, a fish and the jib. All right, so we are going to play the fish to heal 1 more time. Now it's worth mentioning here that the fish, if I had the fishing rod and I played them together, the fish would come back into my hand so I could play it again the following turn. I don't have the mainsail yet, so there's no reason not to play the jib. I will play the jib for 1 sail, increasing this one 1 more. And because it's a single sail, the squid, again, doesn't hit me. We need to draw 2 cards. There's only 1 left. So I'll draw 1, and then we get to choose another. Mainsail and revolver are good right now. I want to kill that squid, so I'm going to take the revolver. And we'll give those a shuffle. It's worth mentioning the other card I pulled just now was first aid and doesn't have damage. So we pull 1 more, which is the harpoon and does cause damage. So we take 1 damage. But lucky for me, I have the first aid kit. I will play the first aid kit to get 2 health back. 6 and 7, we're back to full strength. And I will fight the squid with 1 harpoon because it won't hurt me. 6. Got 1 coin left. I draw a fish and the rum. So lots of healing, but I don't need any healing. The squid's already at 6. 3 more damage will kill it. So yeah, why not? We're going to use the rum, and I will get rid of the pocket watch to do 3 damage. 7, 8, 9 kills the squid. Now it would retaliate, but it's dead, so the challenge response doesn't happen anymore. And let's go ahead and play early. I'm going to play the coin here to take this mainsail into my hand, which means I don't take damage from that. And we draw one more card now because I already have 2. That's my 3rd card. There is a damage there. I take 1. Now, if I play both of these together, the mainsail and the jib, that's 2, and this becomes 2, becomes 4. So I'm going to knock that whirlpool down to 1. We draw one more card, and we need to go again. So this fishing rod comes down. I can take the dog or the fishing rod, but the dog lets me take something out of the discard pile. So I could do sails and then sails again. So let me take the dog into there. The pulley slides down. Give that a shuffle. And we draw one more card into our hand, which is the dog, which is great, but it hurts me for 2 damage. So we're down to 4 health. And there's lots of cards in there to cause damage now. So we are going to use a fish. So I get 1 health back. And then you can also discard cards ignoring abilities. I have no reason to attack anymore, so I'm going to discard the revolver just to have more cards come out. 1, 2, no damage. First aid kit, I will play for 2 health. 6, 7. I don't want to use the coin to get a card because remember, if we run out of these and we need them, we're going to be in trouble. So I'm going to discard the coin as a coin to draw 2 cards, which are the harpoon and the jib, which is 2 more damage. 1, 2, back to 5. I don't need the harpoon, so I will discard it. And then I will... No, I'm waiting. I'm going to draw 1 card, which is rum. All right, we need 8 more on this island. I need to play a card. I'm going to play the sail and slide that up 1. That's not what I wanted to do, but it's the only thing I can do right now. Then we'll draw the last card, which is the sail getting 1 hit. I'm going to play the dog to bring back the jib, and that's already 1 card, so I can only play 1 more card. And if I play 1 more card, I have to shuffle. I don't want to do that right now, so I am actually going to pause my turn because I've already played 1, drawing no cards because I already have 3. And now for my next turn, I will play these 2 cards for 2, and a double is 4 sails, so that can go to level 2. We're out of cards. I'm going to take the pulley. We'll give that a shuffle. And we draw 2 more cards, the revolver and the first aid kit. No more damage. I play the first aid kit to resurrect 2 health there. Drawing 1 more card. Useless. I'm going to discard the pearls and the revolver. Drawing 2 more cards, the mainsail and the jib. Okay. 2 more damage from those gets me to 4. I'm going to discard those 2 to finish the Whirlpool Challenge. So I still need 7 more on Discover Island. We'll see what happens. Drawing 2 more cards, fish and the harpoon. Harpoon does 1 damage. I'm going to discard it, not using it. Discard the fish to heal 1. The dog and the pulley come out, doing 4 damage. And are you kidding me? Bad planning, but unfortunately, 4 damage goes 3, 2, 1, and death. So I was super close to beating the game. I'm not sure I would have had enough sails to win anyway, but just before the end, I perished. All right, so while we're here, I do like to take a look at the components in games. This is a button shy game, means 18 cards, all of the cards you've seen in my gameplay. And I'm sort of 2 opinions on the sort of artwork in this game. The card quality is always as great. Button shy games, cards tend to be really, really good quality, and I'm very happy here as always. But regarding the artwork on these cards, I love this sort of nautical journal, nice sort of gridded paper as if it was a map, these sort of sketchy things that you might see in old nautical art. I'm a huge fan of that. These sort of character art not character, but items and creatures and so on these cards. Also a big fan of what's here. I like it sort of 3D and pops out as if it's laid on top of the map. The only thing that I'm not so sure about in this game is the character artwork. It looks a little bit undone, unfinished. The shading's a little bit off to me. It just looks a little bit, I hate to say it, because I think I know the artist and I think I love his other work, but it just looks a little undone here to me. The same thing with the cover of the rule book. It's not bad. The colors are nice, the design is nice, but there's just something about it that looks a little bit unfinished to me. But again, that's a nitpick. It doesn't really matter. The design of the actual cards and the game design as far as iconography and imagery and so on, I really love. There's just something about these watercolor kind of paintings, watercolor oil, I'm not sure, but these kind of painting art that just doesn't quite sit right with me. As for the wallet, again, Button Shy games do come in wallets. This is a sort of speckledy brown wallet that's kind of like a leather look. I really do enjoy the design of the title art for this one, how they made the H into a sort of a fishing hook. It looks very bold, again, very nautical themed, and it fits the part very well. I'm not a huge fan of the brown wallet, but it does look leathery and it does fit with the theme of this game, so no complaints from me there. With all that said, that's about it for the components. Meet me back up top and I'll let you know what I think about the game itself. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. This is an interesting one for me because deck builders in general are not necessarily my favorite mechanism, especially when it's a deck builder only. But this is a deck builder that is designed as a solo-only experience, but also designed as an 18-card only experience. It is a Button Shy wallet game, which means it's restricted to 18 cards. And now taking it out and looking at it, it's really restricted to 17 cards. And then realistically, you take out 4 more cards for the challenges, you're restricted to 13 cards for the deck that you're building to play a deck building game. And my mind goes, huh? Really? How do you do a deck building game with only 13 cards? Well, I'm here to tell you, this is how you do a deck building game with only 13 cards. Because, wow, I am incredibly impressed with the amount that was able to be done with such a small set of resources, basically, of 13 cards, well, 18 cards in total, but 13 cards that are the cards that you use for deck building. And it legitimately is a deck building game. I have a deck of cards. I draw cards every turn. I add cards to my deck. Every time my deck runs out, I shuffle it. I draw cards every turn. It is a pure, at its heart, deck builder game that shines as a deck builder. And it really does work with such a few number of cards. And it really does work as a solo experience. And those two things together as a deck builder really does blow my mind. Now, it is still a deck builder. It's still not my favorite of all mechanisms. This isn't going to ever be my absolute favorite Button Shy game, but I do really enjoy what's going on here. There's a lot of clever things that have been done in this game to make this game work as well as it does, right? The idea that you've got 5 cards and you're drawing 3 cards, and this is a very standard deck builder mechanic or mechanism. But this is interesting to me now that sort of every time your deck runs out, you add a card to it. Rather than just having cards that you're buying and using cards to get more cards, which is something you normally see in a deck building game. And you do have that here. You can use a coin, a gold coin card, to buy a new card and add that to your hand and avoid getting hurt. And that's going to be really important because that damage is a really important thing here. And that is ultimately how I lost this playthrough. But the addition that I'm not just buying cards, but that every time my deck runs out, I add a card to my deck is a really cool addition because I don't have to necessarily plan that I can't do other things because I'm focused on adding cards to my hand, which is one of the things that I don't always love about deck building, about when do I decide to add cards to my hand to make my deck better? When do I add cards to my hand to score points? When do I use my cards to do other things in the game that isn't adding cards to my hand? And this is not always something I enjoy, but here I've got a card that's added automatically every time. So rather than focusing on the sort of mechanical piece of building the deck, I really am able to focus on what are the things that I need my deck to be able to do, and then how do I get them, those cards to do what I need them to do. And I think that's really cool here. And the idea that the deck itself is sort of a ticking timer that does eventually end the game, that I've got these challenges that I need to accomplish before the market is cleared. And that means now I've got cards that I can use to clear the market. I used that rum bottle to discard or to trash several cards to do really big moves, powerful moves during the game, but that meant I had less cards, which meant the timer of my game got shorter, right? So I was really, really rushing that clock, and then I got a little bit sloppy with healing, and I got killed at the end. So this idea that the cards that you're adding to your deck are also the timer that tells you how long the game has left before you need to complete those challenges is another really cool thing added to this game. And then also the damage on these cards. I don't know that I've ever seen a deck builder that's sort of causing you damage as you're just naturally going through your deck. That gives you some kind of sort of upkeep that you have to continually be doing as you're playing the game. You're not just focused on what you need to get done, but you need to focus on something else that's going on in the background that ultimately threatens to destroy you if you don't keep a track on it, keep a hold on it while you're working towards your goal. And I really, really enjoy that here. It really does work. And then finally, ultimately, the main goal of this game is the challenges. And having 8 challenges in this game that you take 3 of every time. I don't remember the exact number of combinations, but I think it's 50 something or somewhere in there. And that means that there are many different variations on how this game is going to play. Yes, I only have a few cards. Yes, there's only a certain number of things that those cards do, but the goal is changing and what needs to be done is changing, which means the cards that I have, even though they're doing the same thing that they've always been doing, I have to use them in different ways to sort of deal with the situation that I've been given in any playthrough of this game. And I think that's really clever. The fact that I've got 3 challenges, and not just 3 challenges, but one challenge might be making the other challenges more difficult. I might have to do something on one card that hurts me on another card. There's one card that has to be one of the first 2 challenges that I finish. Means I have to make sure that I'm focusing on that over the other cards. And there's this sort of interplay of the challenges, how those challenges work with the cards in the marketplace, how the challenges force you to either rush the game end so you can get things done before the market clears, or slowly work your way through to maintain the health that you need to not die before you complete the challenges. There's so much that can be done in this game with such a small number of cards, and it really, really shines as genius in design. Whether or not the game ends up being the most fun game in the world, and it is a lot of fun. It's not going to be one of my favorite games, but it is a lot of fun. But that's beyond the point here, because the mechanism and the design here just works so impressively well. Now, I do know that there are 2 expansions for this game, and additional content for a game that's already doing so much with so little absolutely makes me excited. So I will definitely be trying to get my hands on those expansions to try those out as well. But I definitely, if you're a fan of deck building already and you like solo games, this is one you're definitely going to want to check out because it's impressive with what it does. It's a fun deck building game in a very quick amount of time in a very small package that you can throw in your pocket and take with you wherever you go. This is probably, I don't want to say a must-have, but it's definitely a must-check out for fans of deck builders who also play solo games. If you're a solo card gamer who may or may not like deck building, I would definitely still say check this one out because it does a lot of interesting and fun things, and it twists the deck building mechanism just enough that it feels a little bit more fresh and new. Again, big definite recommend for me on at least checking this one out. Whether or not you'll enjoy it is going to obviously depend on your own tastes, but it's definitely worth a look. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, as always, please remember to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon below, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks.